Welcome to DCPC Live presents Scene Support, the podcast that spotlights the people behind the scenes who keep DIY and underground music alive. From the bookers and sound techs to the zine writers and venue operators, we're here to give credit where it's long overdue. I'm your host, Scott Pasch, founder of DCPC Live, a DIY label putting out short-run vinyl of punk, hardcore, ska, and metal shows. After decades in bands and behind the scenes, I know the work it takes to keep a scene going. And today's guest is one of those people doing that work week in and week out. This week on Scene Support, I'm sitting down with Jeremy Hayes, a Baltimore, Maryland-based recording, mixing, and mastering engineer who's been at it for 20 plus years. Jeremy graduated from the Sheffield Institute for Recording Arts in 2005, and since then he's been built a track record that spans studio work, live capture, and the kind of behind-the-scenes consistency that keeps DIY music moving. One of the biggest 10 projects on his resume, Jeremy mixed and mastered Teenage Mortgage's first EP, plus all the singles from their 2021-2023 releases that have racked up over 40 million streams. Jeremy also produces and mixes masters for Ottobar TV, and since January 2025, he's recorded more than 40 live sets at Ottobar, including Trapped Under Ice, Angel Dust, Drain, The Adverts, Young Widows, Scowl, Castle Rat, Jive Bomb, I could go on. He's currently working on a new record for, may I say it? Am I allowed to say it, Jeremy?
Go for it,
Am I allowed to? All right, Riverboat Gamblers. God, I love that band. He can't divulge too much, but it's one there. He's going to talk a little bit about it, maybe.
Sure.
It's the first studio album in 10 years. And on top of all that, he plays bass in an alt surf band, but we're not going to talk about that because as good as Mean C is, this is a show about scene support, not about the music that people play. So we'll mention it one more time. A great alt rock surf band called Mean C, and that's the last we're going to talk about it probably.
That's a mouthful, man. Jeez, what a sprint. Oh,
I'm glad I stopped doing the teleprompter. I used to do the teleprompter, and I could never get the speed right. And there were times where I'm like, I'm just going in a clip. And I'm a fast talker anyway. But like, even me, I'm like, oh my God, I need to catch a breath.
Well, you do it well. I can barely formulate a sentence on my own, so congratulations.
I appreciate that.
Great. Good job.
I can drop bars. I
can tell.
So, this is our first time meeting. I'm really stoked to meet you.
Yeah. Which is kind of crazy. I'm really surprised we haven't crossed paths at shows or, because we all kind of have mutual friends and bands we work with and stuff like that,
I mean, 05, is that when you were in Baltimore? Like, how long have you been in the Baltimore area?
I've been in the Baltimore area for my whole life. But as far as, like, playing in bands and recording, 2005-ish
so I've been playing,
kind of
like,
the start.
Baltimore since the 90s.
Okay.
The Loft. I played the Sidebar, I don't know how many thousands of times. I met my wife there. I proposed to her there. I helped start the Charm City Art Space in Baltimore. I played the Ottobar.
Oh, nice. Cool.
So I used to play in the Overprivileged and the Twats. So basically hardcore punk bands.
Right on. Cool.
I don't know if that's your normal scene or what's your normal scene?
A little bit all over the place. I mean, I started playing in metal bands and then anything from pop punk to stuff that leans a little more hardcore. It's always kind of stayed in like guitar heavy type of shit, basically.
And that makes sense, and I appreciate that, like, you have a broad range of, at least within the guitar-based work. I sometimes get shit because I do shows and I'll put, like, ska bands on with, like, crust bands, and then I'll throw in, like, some skate punk bands and a post-punk band. And I'm like, why? Do I want to hear all Ramones score all night long? No, I do not.
No, I hear you. Yeah, people get
like more than one
over
guitar-based music.
Bills, yeah.
Yeah. But I go to
the
shows.
Diversity's nice.
Like, it's like 5, beat down hardcore bands, which are great. But I'm like, after 5 of them, like, I'm really beat down.
Yep. I hear you. Whereas, you need a little bit of variation.
A little bit. And since you do engineer work, you have to have an ear to like more than one thing. If you said, I am only going to record or do sound engineer for surf punk bands, you would be limiting yourself immensely.
You might have a little less work, that's for sure. But
a little less work.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Go ahead.
I was like, did we meet at the Metro in Baltimore when Sick Move was recording?
Yes, I do think. Yeah, yeah. Yep.
So this is our second time meeting because I was at that show.
Yeah. I was going to say that we had to have met somewhere. And I finally, I got it here, finally got my copy of this.
Oh, there you go. See, that's me in the
And
bottom left-hand corner there.
yeah, dude, the artwork is just killer. Dave does such a good job at this stuff. But
Dave is
yeah,
great.
I'm
He just
hanging
came out
out
on
up
last week's
here.
podcast. Yeah, he's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
he's just killing it with this stuff. It's so
Yep.
good. But yeah,
And you
recorded
did
this.
such an excellent job.
And yeah, finally got my own copy, which I'm stoked to have. But and thank you. Yeah, I thought it came out really well. That actually was the first live recording like that I've done. You know, obviously I did the Sick Move record and you know, the studio album. And Dave hit me up and he's like, "Would you record us at Metro for the release?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't normally do live recordings, but fuck it, why not? How hard can it be?" And brought some gear out, connected my
Yep.
laptop, and mixed it back here in the studio at home, and it came out great. And then a buddy of mine, his band was also playing at Metro a couple weeks later, recorded them, and a guy there named Tracy Conway bumped into me and he said, "Hey, I heard you're recording tonight. I happen to be filming. Could I get the audio and I'll add it to the video?" Yeah, sure. Long story short, he's now working with me doing Ottobar TV because he works for
Great.
Ottobar,
Yeah.
and he does video stuff as well. And they've wanted to get a YouTube channel together for quite a bit. And he hit me up and said, "Would you have an interest in doing this?" You know, I said, "Of course, I'd love to." And, you know, people talk and directions change. I never knew if I'd hear from him again. And sure enough, 2 weeks go by and he calls me and goes, "Hey, you still want to record?" I said, "Yeah, of course. How about Trapped Under Ice?" I'm like,
That's
"Yeah,
amazing.
definitely."
Nope.
So the first Ottobar TV was Trapped Under Ice, which was, you know, a killer sold out show.
Oh,
And,
it was a
you
banger
know,
video too. I watched it. I checked out
hmm
your stuff. I didn't know you did Ottobar TV until David Gregg told me when I had him on
hmm
had him on the podcast. I was like, "Shut up, that is goddamn brilliant." And you know, because I have a live album record label, so I'm like, I love live stuff, and I'm like, this is so well done. And like for you having kind of just started doing it, it's phenomenal
hmm
because I have like two go-to people that I use for recording live albums, one in Florida, one up here in New York. And I try other people at random.
Sure.
And it's really hit or miss because sometimes I don't know if the sound engineers are like, "Oh, I'm just going to like do a straight board recording, but then I don't get the different stems or I get the room sound or
Right.
whatever." Um, you know, it's a learning curve for most people. You know, I've done Camp Pennsylvania's side stage now the last couple of years, and Garrett, he's great, but every time he's done, he's gotten better and better. But he only does it like once a year.
Sure.
And you know, I watched Josh in Florida, Danger Room Studios. You know, he's been doing it for me now since my second release, or my first one really, because we did it a live stream, and like he's just got it down. But like that was you
hmm
just hit it out of the park. You like, "Oh, I'm gonna do it my first time. It's just be a fucking banger." You're done. How'd you do
Well, I
that?
think my approach with the live stuff is really just to mix it pretty much the same way I would mix an album or anything
Mm-hmm.
else. I think with live stuff, and not everyone does this, but I think a lot of people tend to be a little bit conservative with how they mix it. Like they tend to maybe not use as much EQ, or maybe not, you know, maybe trying to keep it sounding natural.
Yes.
And I get the idea there, but the problem with live stuff, you know, when you're in the room, you have the advantage of, you know, tens of thousands of watts hitting you in the chest. You know, you're getting
Yep.
that the bass drum is hitting you right in the chest, and everything is just loud and the energy's there. But then when you listen to a live recording at home, even if you have a good stereo, you're never going to reach that same amount of energy
Sure.
and volume. So for me, I'm trying to counteract that. So I'm going to do everything I can to help that mix along. And if that means, you know, pushing the boundaries and throwing every single trick in the book that I have at that mix, you know, I'm going to do it. So I really just mix it like it's, you know, a record, same time and attention. And yeah, it seems to be working out. It seems
Yeah.
people are
No, I
enjoying
mean
it. Yeah.
it's really good. Like, you know, when I started the label and I would send records off, I got a lot of reviews were like, for a live album, it sounds good. But it's gotten to the point now where I send it to the same place. And I'm like, you know what? It just sounds good.
Yeah.
But it's an uphill
Yep.
battle because so many live records are so poorly recorded and or poorly mixed
Right.
and
Right.
poorly mastered. Like the whole
Hmm.
trifecta can be fucked up. But you've got to get all three. And
Yeah.
like you seem to nail all three of them right off the bat. And I generally feel like the recording is where it starts. I mean, I've been to places
Yeah.
like, hey, I've got permission from Escape from the Zoo to record their set tonight. Can you do it for me?
Sure.
Here's a hard drive. And I get home and I listen to it and it's just all vocals. I'm like, what the fuck did I just pay $50 for?
Yeah, and you really have to make sure that not only are you getting the individual tracks off the board,
Yeah.
but also you need to get some room mics. I always set up my own pair of room mics, which is literally just a stereo XY Zoom recorder, and I do it that way so that if anything were to go down on the board end or my laptop, I can always have a backup at least. But I use that as my room mic, so that captures the crowd. I get the cheering and the energy from people yelling and screaming and all that, and then it also just kind of adds that room sound, so you get a little bit of natural feel, and it doesn't sound like you're in a vacuum. Because
Yeah, the
sometimes you
room
get a
mics are
room,
really essential.
yeah. Sometimes you get like a mix that's just what's off the board, and you can mix it as good as you can, but you don't want it to sound like it's in this unnatural space. You got to have some of that room sound, that room reverb in there, and the room mics really help with that a lot.
I've had a couple people that I've worked with that have like double mic'd things. It's like, this is the
Sure.
mic that they're putting on the amp for the room, and this is
Hmm.
the mic for the recording. Have you done it that way before, or do you always use the same mic for both?
So for capturing at the venue, like for Ottobar, I'm rolling with whatever the front of house engineer is setting up that night. I trust them.
Okay.
They know the room better than I do. They know the mics that they have, so I let them. The only thing that I'll be particular about is making sure that they get overhead mics up, obviously, so I can get good coverage of the drum kit. But other than that, I let them do their thing, and it generally
Okay.
works great. I do like, more mics can be better. But sometimes, just throwing a million mics at a thing can also just make things convoluted and more difficult to mix
Overly
down.
complicated.
Yeah. But yeah, it all really just depends. But
Yep.
the biggest challenge really with like small venue recordings at places like Ottobar and Metro is just the amount of bleed that happens. I'm doing a lot of editing on the vocal mics to get the cymbal bleed out, and it's a small room, so everything
Yep.
comes in that mic. That vocal mic's got
And you say
guitar
those
in
are
it,
small, but
bass,
like
cymbals.
the Ottobar
Yeah,
has like 300 people capacity, right? 250, 300.
sure, but I mean, in that size room,
Yep.
those mics are picking everything up. You're not really
Because
getting
I've done
much isolation.
recordings that shows like the size of the sidebar or the old Ottobar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like I just recorded a show, it's a place called Snugs in New Paltz, and my guy Dez, he had to rearrange everyone around, and he's like, "Look, I know this is where you normally stand, but I'm telling you, I've recorded in this room based on the size of this small room, and the bleed here, the drums should really be like." And they listened to him, and it was all good, but like he's had to record there a couple times, and like, okay, how can I make this work based on this
Sure.
band too? Because some bands, they have like. There's the quiet singer with the vice versa. It's like, it's a lot of like, it's not the same for every live band. So like, do you do prep work before you do a band? Like, do you listen to them? Are you very familiar with
Oh yeah,
everyone? Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, I mean, we look at the calendar, several months in advance. We pick out the stuff that we think will sound good, do well, that people are going to want to check out on YouTube on the channel. And then I generally, when it comes time, usually the day of the show, I'll sit down and listen to, if I'm not already familiar with them. I mean, majority of the stuff at Ottobar probably know it.
Yeah. This tends to be up there.
But
I
especially
recorded at the
when,
Ottobar.
yeah, especially when it comes time for mixing, I will sit down and listen to at least, if it's not just their popular songs, I'll skim a couple of records. And I'll try and, while mixing it, match the energy and the tones and the sound of
Okay.
the record, because it's their art, it's their material. I'm not trying to put my my taste and my flair on it. I'm going to make it sound as good as it can, but I want to listen to the record and say, all right, I'm going to try and make the guitars and the drum tones sound similar. And that's definitely a crucial part, going and listening through the records and trying to match.
Before they like go up to like Ottobar TV, how much feedback did the bands give you? Do you let them review the tracks, or do you just toss them up there and assume you got it right?
We always get permission. So anytime we pick a band to record, we have to go through the proper channels. So sometimes it might just be the band themselves. They may not have a manager, or maybe it's just a tour manager. We always like to make sure it's clear with the band and anyone that's out with them. And if there's a label involved, we reach out to them. But in terms of like mixed feedback, not a lot. I mean, I always will send stuff out and say, hey, if you want any tweaks here, let us know. We don't really get a lot of, change lists or requests. People have, fingers crossed, have just been like, sounds great, roll with it.
Awesome.
Yeah, which is good. I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but yeah, it's not a lot of back and forth. It's definitely not like working on a record where, you got the lists of revisions and stuff like that. But we keep bands in the know. I as a musician myself, I know that I would not want something released that I don't approve. So we're very careful with making sure that all parties involved are cool with it and they like it and they can get behind it.
And that makes sense. Like when I when I record a band, I tell them that the recording is free, and they're like, "Why is the recording free?" I was like, "Look, now I've been doing it 5 years. When I started doing it, I was like, you don't know me. You're gonna get up on stage, and for all you know, you're gonna break a string. Or your drummer had one drink too many, or who knows what the problem's gonna be."
Right.
And red light goes on, and you just you follow your heart, and your heart lays a fart. Cosmic shame sort of stuff. I was like,
Sure.
so Tenacious D quote there. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, like here's the deal. I was like, I'm gonna record it, and if you like it, then and I like it, we can talk about putting it out. If you
Yep.
like it and I don't want to use it, you can do whatever you want with it. Put it out on any format you want. Just note that I recorded it. And if you hate it, I delete it forever. But regardless, it's free. And they're like, that's pretty low risk. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's the way
not
to do
meant
it.
to be hurtful to you. It's meant to be
Yeah.
something that we both enjoy doing.
That's pretty much exactly what we do. There's an email that goes out to the band and their tour manager, et cetera. And it says along the lines of, there's no charge here. There's no, fine print or hidden stuff. If you like it, you like it. We can use it. If you don't like it, whatever. We move on. There's no pressure. And I don't want to put stuff out in the universe that a band is not happy with.
Well, why would you want to, right? Like I'm recording Camp Punksylvania. Like I've said, I've done that before.
That's
and I
cool,
have a
yeah.
new comp coming out, and I sent everybody their set. And there were like 17 bands I had recorded. There was one day we couldn't record half the bands because of the storm, and they moved to another location, and it was too hard to remove the recording aspects that we were doing.
Yeah.
And bands were like, they picked their songs. And there was a couple of bands that were out there that said, you know what? These rough mixes actually sound really good, but we shit the bed, and we don't want to put it out because we just didn't play well enough. And then there was a band that I got all the way to the mastering part, and they said, you know what? I'm sorry. You have really made this sound good. So good that I hear all of our errors, and I can't handle this. He's like, if you really need to put it out, you can. And I was like, no, I will remove your song from the compilation. There was absolutely no reason I ever want to put out a song that is going to make you go, gosh, I'm embarrassed by that. Why would I ever do that to a band?
That's the right way, and you can't get emotionally attached to it because it's easy. You work on a mix. You have time invested in it. You put your heart in it. Yep. You feel that it sounds really good, and you're proud of it. And then it can be deflating when the band's like, just can't take it personal. It is what it is, and I have to go
sound
into
guys,
it.
I was like, oh my god,
yeah.
My mixer master's like, but it sounds so good. I was like, buddy, I love you. They said no. He's like, but I was like, they said no. I am not going to argue with the band. I take
the artist will hear things that you don't,
and I move on. Yep.
And they're going to hyper focus on certain things, and it's just, it is what it is. But you got to be able to move on and just jump on to the next thing.
Yep.
For sure. And we've had that happen with Ottobar TV. We had we had a band. I'm not going to throw their name out there. I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus, but we got all the
I
way
feel
through
that.
mixing, all the way through mastering. The
Yeah.
whole video got edited. It even got posted for a brief period of time, and they finally reviewed it, and they just said, "Look, it sounds great. We had some stuff that was off, especially with some vocals and harmonies. We got to have you pull it down." And I was disappointed. It sounded good, but I get it. If you're
Yeah.
not happy with it, not comfortable, we'll take it down.
I mean, that's exactly how it should be. I mean, it's sad that it got that far. They should have
It
been able to say
happens.
no earlier.
Yeah.
But that's
But also,
only
it's hard. I
happened to
mean,
me
you
once
got a
when I've
band
gone
that's
all the way
on
to the master
tour.
stage.
Sometimes it's hard to get a quick response because, like, for that band, they were still out on the road. So, even if I send them mixes early on, I mean, I hear back for hell a month.
Yep. And even like, where do they get a chance to listen to it? Like, my guy will send me stuff.
In the van,
And a day later, was like, "Have you
on their
listened to it
phone.
yet?" I was like, "Nah, dude, I haven't had a chance to listen to it. I don't listen to it on my shitty laptop.
Yep.
I need to listen to it on something that sounds good. Yeah, I listen to it in my car, but even that's not my best thing. Like, for me to really listen to it, I need to like put it in through my MP3 speaker that's really nice and like sit here and listen to it. It's like I want to play it through my good system and really hear it, not just like through my
Yeah.
earbuds on
Just
my phone.
do you have like a favorite listening spot in the house, or are you listening on the go
I
generally,
mean,
or what?
I have my office where I'm in right now. So here I've got, a record player, and I have like a giant MP3 CD tower that has like a really
Mhm.
quality sound, and I can hook it up to like my Bluetooth, like over headphones as well. So it's like
Sure.
I can do either one, and it just sounds much better. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, in my room because I I have a downstairs where I have like my better stereo system, my record player, but my wife's office is downstairs, so it's always inconvenient that I want to listen to a test press. And she's like, "Can
Yeah.
you
You got
turn
to
that
crank
down?" I was
that.
like, "But it's a test press. I need to listen to it." "Well, how much of
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
do you need
Yeah.
to listen to?" I was like, "All of it." "Why all
The
of it?" I
whole
was like,
thing.
"Because I need to check that every track is good from start to finish." I don't
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it any differently. I was like, I don't just put on, it's like, "Oh yeah, their sound is good."
Yeah, and that's got to be nerve wracking, sitting there listening through the physical release and just like looking for issues because you press a lot of stuff.
I
It's
do.
crazy.
I did 50 records in the last 5 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's a lot of listening.
It is a lot of listening. I found like the pressing plant I work with right now is probably my favorite precision pressing. I know some people will give me crap because they got bought out by the Czech Republic company.
Mhm.
They're up in Canada, but their customer service is bar none the best I've ever had. They catch every minute error. When I put in the track lengths and I'm off by like 15 seconds, they send me an email to make sure that I like have everything exactly lined
Yeah, is this
up.
right?
if
Yeah,
if like
that's what you
the,
want.
the
Yeah.
type is off on the spine a little bit, they'll like say, "Hey, can you approve this? By the way, here's a comment. We move your spine to this level."
Mhm.
I mean, it's just such quality, and they do the express thing without the test pressing, and because of their quality, I've used that a couple times, and I've
Mhm.
never had a problem. Whereas I worked with other places that were not, they didn't respond to emails. They didn't tell me what the delay was. Like these people were like, "Hey, by the
Mhm.
way, I know we said we were shipping this record, but there's a customs issue in Canada. We're going to send you this form." It was like, I didn't even know it was delayed yet. Whereas another place, I'm calling them every couple of days going, "What's going on?" And it took them a month to just tell me their chiller was broken, and that's why the record was delayed. But they just wouldn't tell
Got it.
me.
Yeah.
And I don't work with
Yeah.
them
And
anymore.
communication's key. Yeah. Well, that's great. I mean, it sounds like
Yeah.
a perfect partner, especially
So
for
I
something
love
like that.
them.
That's yeah. I mean
Yeah.
that's your business, and it's also a band's work that's near and dear to their heart. So having that
Yep.
good relationship and getting quality stuff from them, that's crucial. Yeah.
And it really is. It is quality stuff. And David did the cover for the Sick Move record. He did an impeccable
Hmm.
job. I sent it in, it was fine. Every now and then I have other artists that do the covers, and they just don't follow the rules. It's not high def enough or whatever,
Yeah,
and I get
all the
rejected,
templates,
and then I
and
go
there's
back and
yeah,
get
there's
it
little things you can get
fixed.
hung up on.
Yep,
It's easy to
and all
miss
these things
those
happen.
details.
And I used to have a graphics person that worked for me that did stuff on like a contract basis, and I've
Hmm.
done most of it myself this summer. But like, I'll use the materials the band send me, like their logos or their photos, and if they're not in high enough quality, which I'll be honest, that is not my skill set to recognize, I'll do my best with it. Send it in. I don't have Photoshop or anything like that. I do everything on Canva because I'm a whatever I am. And it got to the point where this summer I had so many things get rejected. They said, "Hey Scott, can we have a meeting with you?" I was like, "Yeah." So they had a design team of 3 people plus my account manager there to sit down and walk it through me and then help me come up with a template and
That's
instructions
incredible.
step by step for the artists. Like
Yeah.
they did this because they're like, look, we don't want to keep hassling you. You do a lot of records with us. You're super nice, yada yada yada. We want to help you move faster on this stuff. I can tell you're getting frustrated and it's not your fault. What can we do to help your artists know how to do their work better? I'm like,
That's
thank
great
you.
because I feel like most companies are just going to be like, they'll just keep sending you that rejection email and saying it's not
Yeah,
right until you're blue in the face. And the fact that they engage with you and want to, come up with a better process and teach you
yep.
something along the way, that's killer. Super
So
good.
I'm like, I will be with these people for as
That's how
long
you
as
get
I
a
can.
customer for
Like,
life. Yeah, that's how you do it.
yeah,
That's
they treat me with
customer service
respect, and so
perfected.
I'm there.
Yep, that's amazing.
I think the first time I actually rejected a test press was my very first 7 inch, and it was my fault. I sent in the wrong tracks. My
Yeah,
own
well,
band, of course, because everybody that starts a record label to put out their own band. And I got the seven
right,
inch and
right.
I put it in, and I was like,
At least it was your own
it
band
was
that
my
that
own.
happened
But I
to.
still had to pay to like redo it all over again, new test presses and
Oh,
everything like
damn.
that. I was like, son of a bitch, because it was live and the last track we had cut out like a minute of banter to fit it on there. And when
Sure, yeah.
I sent it with the minute of banter. We had 2 versions, and then like the song got cut off at the end. I was like,
Ah.
well, that was my fault. That was all my fault.
Well, sometimes these are lessons learned, right? So you won't do that again.
No, 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 no. So you don't have to worry about cutting out banter because you're doing everything on YouTube. Have you done any other
Oh, we
records
do.
though? Like I
We
know you
do
did the
custom
Sick
stuff.
Move record. You do? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So um, it depends. Like we try not to get too in the weeds with editing and cutting stuff out, but sometimes you just get a set that is an hour and 20 minutes long, and maybe something happens mid set and someone's taking too long to tune. We'll cut it out because it just makes it
Okay.
a more enjoyable watch for the person that's sitting there, on their couch with it on, and not having those long gaps. So we do cut down a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit of banter that is, if you weren't in the room, maybe it's a little out of context. So we'll cut that. But it
Sure.
happens. We don't have a strict runtime on YouTube, but again, we don't want it to be 120, an hour and 20 minutes for no reason. If we can tighten it up a little bit, it helps. Just
No,
makes
I
it
get that. I get that.
it keeps the energy up too. When you're getting from song to song in a
Yep.
good pace, you get more into it. Your viewer, your listener is gonna be more likely to stick around.
How many videos would you say you've done so far?
As far as posted on the channel, I think 16 right now.
Okay.
Yes, we've been at it since January of last year, so it's been just over a year, and we did full 15, 16, full sets. We are going to start doing some smaller, shorter. We're going to always do like full sets, right? And those will go
Yep.
straight to YouTube. But we're going to start doing some more clipped out, either individual songs or like 30-second pieces that are more geared for like Instagram Reels, just so we can
Sure.
have a little bit of a faster cadence with the content. Um, our passion is definitely the long sets because I love personally, like if I'm at home cleaning or just getting chores done, I'll throw a live concert on the TV,
Yeah.
crank it up, and I love it. So I'm trying to
That's
provide that
great.
same thing for Ottobar, and we'll always do those long, complete sets. But I also want to have some quick, snappier content for Instagram, and to kind of fill in the blanks because we can only really do about. It's just two of us. I'm doing the audio stuff. Tracy's doing all the
Yeah.
video. So we can do about two videos a month, I'd say, is our average right now. So
Okay.
I'd like to sprinkle in some shorter stuff along the way. So
If you've ever want to say go like, oh, do an Ottobar TV compilation and press it to vinyl, you take one song from each band or something like that.
I'd love to
If
do
anyone
that.
would
That would
be
be
interested,
killer.
I know a record label that would be interested.
I think you also know, I think there's a record label and maybe even a pressing company and everything. You might have the whole deal.
Yeah, yeah. I got a whole deal.
I wonder who that
There's
is.
promotions. I have
Wonder,
distribution.
wonder if this person's hard to get a hold of.
Oh, I am probably one of the fastest responding motherfuckers out there.
That's a good quality to have because man, sometimes it just gets lost in the noise these days. But yeah, I would
I
love to do that, and I know Ottawa would as well. So we should talk about that.
Oh yeah, I would definitely.
Let's
We should
figure
talk
it
about
out.
off this. We don't want to do business on this, but like
Mm-hmm.
compilations, full albums, whatever Autobar is
That'd be
interested
super
in,
cool. Yeah.
I would be all in on that. We just leave
We're
it at
we're
that.
trying to do more and more. So I mean, our
Yeah.
first year we had 0 subscribers at day one, and we're well over 4,000 now.
Fuck yeah.
We've got a bunch of videos out. We're trying to do some merch. We're gonna just keep
And
it
it's
going. So
interesting. My distributor, and I didn't really talk to him much about this. He wants to know if I'd get into digital distribution of videos. He's like, "There's a lot of money to
got
be
it.
had in that." I was like, "Is there now?" So,
What kind of so yeah? When you
I can
say
share his name with you later if you want. So,
yeah, sure, yeah. When you say digital distribution of video, is that just like digital releases, like to streaming
like digital
platforms,
video,
or
like YouTube, like basically
oh,
finding
okay,
ways to
yeah,
like monetize YouTube videos
sure, yeah, yeah, cool.
because what you're doing is something that like has been an envision of mine, but like
Hmm.
I'm a one man operation, and this last year, like as I've did like 35 shows, and now I have a consistent sound guy, I've got a photographer,
Yeah, yeah.
I've got a stage hand, I've got a door person, and I'm like I'm a promoter. I do like 5 different venues in the Hudson Valley. I don't have a videographer, so like the idea of doing everything you're doing is in my head, but it's like you said, it's just finding people that are
Yeah.
consistent, that will be there, that do well, and that you can be trusted to do it. It's
Hmm. Well, listen, if I
it's
can help
not
in any,
it's not an easy thing.
hmm well, I'm easy to get a hold of, so I'm happy to help
You
when
are.
we're in the process. So
So
we
what
have
other have you
similar
done
goals.
any other
So.
vinyl records besides Sick Move?
Yeah, I mean, I've done some just mastering projects that are stuff that's already mixed by other people that they just need a vinyl master done. I've done. I just finished a record for a band called Winton Existing, and a really cool like psych rock band out of Nashville. They're doing the whole digital release, vinyl release.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done quite a
So you
few.
master it for digital, you master it for vinyl.
Hmm.
Two
Yeah.
separate mastering. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to say it. Vinyl's obviously super popular now, so a lot of bands. Even if I often recommend, even if you don't need it immediately, it's easier for me to provide the vinyl master while we're already in the session and ready and at it. So I
Yep.
can just add that on for it's not a ton of extra work, and that way you have it. You don't have to come back to me 6 months later and say, hey, remember that project you worked on? We need a vinyl master. You just have it ready to go.
You're like the 4th sound guy I've had on my podcast. So I have a question for you. My fifth sound
Sure.
guy.
All right.
All right. Should you always separate the mixing and the mastering with different people? Or does it not matter a hill of
Hmm.
fucking beans? Or
Oh,
should the same fucking person do it?
generally, I think you should have different people. And the
Okay.
reason why is when you're mixing something, you're obviously spending hours and hours and hours and hours listening to that mix, and you're doing everything you possibly can to make it sound the best that you can with your ability. And you're also working with the band to get it the way that they want it. So you're inherently biased. You've done everything that you think that you can do. So what else are you going to do in mastering? Yeah, sure, you can you can make it louder, et cetera, et cetera. But so much of mastering is that quality control portion, and having another fresh set of unbiased ears listen to that mix. Then maybe they'll find that it's a little bloated and 200 hertz. Maybe the top end's a little dull. They're going to get that frequency balance and give you that extra couple percent that the person that's already been listening to it for 1,000 hours, their ears are fried on it. They're already biased, and
Right.
I think as a
We're
rule
at
of
about
thumb,
50-50 now.
and there are, yeah, I mean, there's
50-50.
some guys that are really great at separating the two, and there's some times where I do have clients that are on a time crunch, budget crunch for whatever reason, and I just end up having to be the guy that masters it. Generally, what I'll say is, all right, look, if this is the route that we're going to go, I always recommend, hey, let's go to somebody else. I have a list of people that I will try and steer them towards that, might be good on a budget or good on a tight deadline. But if they want me to do it after mixing, I say, let's take a few days off. Let's at least put a little bit of time and space
Give
between.
your ears some rest.
Yeah, because you'll come back even after 2 days. You'll come back and listen and go, "Oh wow, yeah, that bass is way too much going on there," or all of a sudden there's sibilance in the vocal that you didn't catch before. But I like to try and have them be two separate people for mix and master.
Okay. I've literally heard both things. I've heard exactly what you said, and I've heard people say, "Nah, I hate it. I mix it." Then the person gets it masters and fucks it all up, and it ruins it. And I'm like, okay.
And sometimes it's also tough as the mix engineer when you get a master back, because you've, again, like I just said, you've already done everything you can to make it sound as best as you can, and you really like that mix, and now it comes back and it sounds different. So, yeah, it is easy to go, well, I don't like this. I like the way it sounded before, but, sit on it for a day or two.
Yeah.
And then you might go, all right, yeah, maybe they tightened the low end up a little bit. Maybe it did need to be brighter.
Maybe. One of these days, like, I spent all the 90s and stuff. I would be like, before I found punk rock, I'd buy like Led Zeppelin CDs, like remastered. I was like, did it need to be remastered?
Yeah, I mean, that's such a gimmick, though,
I was like, yeah, like, why do I need a remaster? It was fine the way it was.
That kind of stuff is silly. Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I
right?
get a lot of it is just the record label wants to sell another
Another
couple,
copy. Like, yeah, we're gonna say remastered.
50,000 copies because we can sell this special edition remastered version that's just, 10 dB louder for no
Slightly
fucking
different.
reason. But, I mean, there are some remasters that do sound better, or maybe it was something that was done, I can't think of a good example right now, but, bad recordings, bad masters happen. Maybe it does benefit it, but you look at stuff like Zeppelin or Beatles, Beach Boys, etc. The typical things that get remastered a million times over. It
doesn't change anything.
It's silly, yeah.
I hear no difference. So, do you prefer doing the live setting now that you've been doing it, or do you prefer being in the the studio recording a band, or do you prefer mixing and mastering?
I think I like them about the same. They're kind of different things. Because with the live recording, I'm obviously there interacting with the bands in the room. I get to see the show, feel the energy. With the recording aspect of the show, I connect my laptop. I run Pro Tools. Once it's going, I don't really have to babysit it. So I'm often providing an extra camera angle, so I'll be moving around, filming a bit.
Okay.
While keeping an eye on the recording. But I like being there. I get to experience the whole show. Then I get to take it home and mix it. But then again, if I'm recording or mixing something that's studio work, I think there's a little bit more of it feels a little more special in a way because it's new material, stuff that people haven't heard. A lot of times the live stuff is, it's already recordings that were out. But you get that kind of that satisfaction of a brand new record being released and seeing what the reactions are, and the band hearing it for the first time and their fans and their friends and that's kind of a unique, fun piece of it. So I like them both the same. There really is. It'd
All
be
right.
tough to pick one over the other.
Oh, that's cool. That means you have like a broad
Yeah.
swath of rad things to do. Do you ever do
Yeah.
straight up sound in venues, like without recording anything, or you ever just be a sound person?
No, that's not my area. I know when to stay in my own lane, and live sound is
Okay, there we go.
not my thing. It's a different beast. There's different processes and rules, and I don't. Nope, not for
Okay,
me.
that
I
makes
let
sense. So
the
like,
Yeah.
I think one of my earlier podcasts, I had a guy named Tony Budd. He's a sound guy at a
Mhm.
place called Will's Pub in Orlando. He's like, yeah, I know you know he's the sound guy here, but I started as a recording engineer at a studio.
Mhm.
And then they said, hey, we also studio guy or a sound guy tonight. Can you do it? I was like, I've never done live sound. And he's like, it's a
Yeah,
whole different animal. I'm not
it
sitting
is.
there
Yeah,
spending 30 minutes making sure the mic is right on the snare drum. I have 3 minutes to make sure the mic's right on the snare drum. And,
yeah.
the room keeps changing as people come in and out and all sorts of shit. He's like, it was, I have no problem. He's like, I love it now that I'm done doing it. But like going from doing it in a studio to be doing it live is like a totally different animal.
It's a different beast, and I don't want to try and pretend. There's way too much on your shoulders doing live sound, and I think sure I'd be able to hack my way through it. I could make it work, but if there was an issue, man, I'd just be lost, and I don't want. There's people in the room that paid good money to be there. The band is also depending on you, and yeah, not for me.
Nope.
Not
That's
for
like
me.
my guy up here, Dez. He does the live sound at all my shows, but he'll also record sometimes at the same time. And
Hmm.
how he manages to both like deal with having to record the band and make sure they're sound checked for the recording, but then also like manage the live sound. And he's walking around with his iPad, and like I said, I'm not a technical guy, but I know what good sound sounds like, and I can
Sure.
tell when he's paying attention. What do you call it? They're from your area. They're from DC. Rise Defy. I don't know if you know them.
Hmm.
They came up and played
So,
my area, and Jack used to play in the Rejects, used to play in the Spitfires United back in the day. Um, he was like, "Yeah, I was playing," and he saw me toggle my guitar to do like a solo, and he pumped
sure.
up the iPad. I could see him
That's
like pump
great.
up my
Yeah.
guitar, and he's like, he's
Hmm.
paying attention. He's like, I
Hmm.
am so used to sound guys that just walk away.
Yeah. Yep.
I was
They
like,
said
you've
it
got
and
a good
forget it.
sound guy. I was like, thank you.
Hmm. Yeah. That's
I
the kind
pay
of
him to
person
be
you want to
good.
hold on to, that loves it, is
Oh
passionate
yeah,
about it, paying attention. Yeah.
that
No
really
sleeping behind
cares.
the board. Yeah.
No, no, he is on top of it to a point where I had to actually teach him to not let the perfect be the enemy of the good, because he will
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh my god. So I'm like, no, you have to start. He's like, was like, we start on time. We put the pumpkin punctuality. It's 5 o'clock. We have to go. He's like, but it could be better. I was like, no, it
Yep.
sounds great. Only you
What
hear
is
what you're hearing right now.
what's that saying? Perfection is the enemy of progress. Something
Exactly.
like that. Yeah.
I
I mean,
was
at
like,
some point, it's tough because in the industry we're in, especially with mixing, you want things to. I don't want to say that you're chasing perfection, but you're trying to make the performance sound as good as it possibly can. So it's easy to kind of get stuck in that rabbit hole of just beating something to death. But at some point, you have to know when to go. All right, I've done everything I can. At this point, anything
this
else
is
I do
what it
is just going to
is.
make it worse. Move
Yeah.
on. Keep going.
Because even like in the studio, is usually you might have time to have a conversation with the guitarist about,
Sure.
maybe changing some levels, something like that. But, you don't know this guitarist. You're just a sound guy at the venue. They walk in, they put
Hmm.
their head up on their cabinet, and they're ready to go. And you put the mic, and they're like, oh, their highs are too highs for this room. And you can give
Hmm.
them a suggestion, and they can look at you and say, I don't know you. I'm going to do what I want to do. You know, if they were in your recording studio, that's different. Like they paid you for for what you're doing. They have the time. You can have the conversation, build the trust. But it's hard to build that trust in a 15-minute setup time between bands.
Yeah, and so much of that also is just learning how to talk to people. I think that
Yeah,
there is a
there's a skill to that.
sometimes a lack of that in this line of work, where people just you have to. And I spent a lot of time in retail um, in my younger years, and it really helped with just being able to talk to people, and especially in a stressful situation, and communication's key in explaining the why. You know, hey, let's maybe try this because this, and this, and maybe the result will be, you know, something a little bit different that works better for this room or for the studio, whatever. But just talking to people like they're people. I think there's a lot of arrogance in the live sound and the studio world. So I try and talk to people like they're humans, you know. And at the end of the day, they're paying you to do a job. You know, be respectful and just no one to shut up and just no one to do the thing.
No one to do what needs to be done and be like, okay, this guy's not going to listen, and I'm just going to have to make it sound best I can because I'm not going to get in a fight with the guy. That's not the point.
And don't be afraid to just let whoever try the thing. You know, maybe suggest, hey, let's maybe change this tone a little bit. No, they don't like it. Okay, cool. Let's just do it that way. And then 9 times out of 10, they'll hear it back and go, you know, let them marinate on it for a bit.
Yeah, no, I agree. So what's been one of your most, you know, we just talked about like difficulties there. What was like the highlight? If you had to say like, dude, what a fucking great day I just had, or great weekend, or great evening. Like, what was like that moment for you?
Well, with the live stuff with Ottobar TV, I mean, the first one we did, Trapped Under Ice, for sure, because that was like everything was popping off on all cylinders. The fucking room was packed shoulder to shoulder. You know, every band just, you know, giving 110% the whole way through, and then taking that home and being able to mix it was just like, fuck, this is insane. And I was like, I want to keep doing this. I want to do this forever. With studio stuff, I'm a huge nerd with drums. I always joke that I should have been a drummer. You know, I played bass mostly in the bands I'm in, but I started playing guitar. You know, I dabble in drums a little bit. I'm a hack, terrible drummer, but I love playing. But most importantly,
I'm a drummer, but I'm also just mediocre.
Drum tones, and that's kind of what drew me to recording. Is you know, when I was a kid, I'd listen to stuff, and I didn't know how to really articulate it then, but I would listen to records just because I liked the way the drums sound. And for me, anytime you're starting a mix and the drums are just hitting right, that's everything else falls into place. Everything else falls into place. You know, for me, anytime that drum mix is heading in the right direction, especially if you're in the room. With Sick Move, I mean, we did the drums for that at Right Way, and you could just listen to that kit in the room. And Bob, you know, has great sounding drums. He knows how to tune his kit. He knows how to play his kit well. He hits hard. And you combine all that, you know, good room, good studio, good drums, tune well, good player, and it just, it's magic. You know, you can just stand in the room and go, this is going to be great.
Drums.
He's
a beast. He came up and played Kingston. He's like, I should have let you take over on drums in one song. I was like, no.
He's a badass.
I'm not going to play one of your songs without practicing them. Absolutely not. No. You're way too good of a drummer for me to just sit down and like copy what you're doing.
He's a madman. Yeah. I would be gassed halfway through one of those songs.
Yeah, I mean, well, when I was in the Overprivileged, we did about 30 songs in 30 minutes. So I tend to be a fast player.
Nice.
But I also got rid of my rack tom, and it was just, you know, floor tom, bass drum, snare.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Really just like, you know, keeping it basic. There were fills, but like, you know, it was like the Ramones didn't have fills. So it was like if the Ramones were on crack and like a grindcore band, like, yeah, it was great. I loved it. But I wouldn't say that it's the most technical thing people have ever done in their lives.
As long as you're having fun.
That's
technicality isn't everything, you know. As long as there's feeling and soul, and the audience can see that, they can hear that. That's why we do it.
And I think that's an accurate description. My younger brother's seen like half dozen bands I've been in, and he's like, "You've been in much more technical bands, and you've been in bands that are better songwriters than the Overprivileged." But the Overprivileged was like, you know, I was in my 20s, but with my two best friends since I was 16. And he's like, but the camaraderie and the joy you three had on stage, it was so obvious that you were just so happy to hang out with each other.
Yeah.
That you weren't even aware that there was anyone else in the room besides the three of you. He's like, it was so clear that you got up on stage, and as far as you were concerned, you were just playing in the bedroom and having a fucking blast and had no concern for what anyone else thought.
Yeah, that's lightning in the bottle. That's what you want.
Yeah.
You know,
That
the
was the good
chemistry
shit.
on stage, it definitely shows, and the audience picks up on that. You know,
That
I don't
is,
want to watch a band. I mean, we've all seen, like, you know, you go see a band that you like for the first time, and they look awkward on stage, and it throws the vibe off. You know, not that,
yeah.
you know, aesthetics aren't everything, but it definitely it all adds up, right? You know, I think a good
Yep.
band, like a good example would be like the Hives.
Yeah.
You know, you go and see them, and it's kind of the total package. Their stage antics and the way that they dress and everything. It's a lot of fun. You know, it really seals the deal, and you know, it makes you want to go see them live.
Yeah. You're like, this is it. This is what I want to do. You know, there are bands where I see them live and I love them, and then I buy their record or I listen. I was like, oh, that's fine, but I will always still go to see them live. But then there are
Sure.
bands where I listen to their stuff and then I go see them live and they suck. I stop listening to their stuff. Like, I have no problem seeing a live band who I enjoy live, but without listening to their stuff at home. But I won't listen to stuff at home if I think that they suck ass live. Once I've seen them live and they suck, I was like, well,
Yes.
I don't know. I just can't anymore. I was like, now you've lost me.
Yeah, that's a tough one, right? Because I there's definitely one of my favorite bands is a little rough around the edges live, and
Yeah.
it hasn't stopped me from listening to their records, but it's always in the back of your head, like, damn, how are these vocals so good on this record, and then live, it's like, what are you
And then
doing?
live, there was a very popular punk band, which I'm not going to denigrate them on the podcast, that
Sure, we're not
everybody
here to talk shit.
loves. And I've
Do that
tried
off.
to
We'll do
love
that
them.
off the air.
I love many of their records. And the first time I saw them, I was like, well, you know what? They came on after the Dwarves. That's why they didn't bring it, because I was so pumped after the Dwarves that they just failed to do it.
Right.
And then I saw them again. I was like, huh. Okay, well, that's it. I'm done. I was like, my brother's like, no. Go see them with the Casualties. You hate the Casualties, and so you're going to love them. And I went, and I was like, I hate to say this, the Casualties put on a better show. I don't even know what to say. I was just like, I can't. And I feel so bad because they were so beloved by so many people. And I'm like, I don't get it. I'm bored.
And that's why there's many bands out there, because, you know, it's
There are
not all
many
going to
bands
appeal to
out there.
everyone.
We
Many
don't all like
options.
every
So,
band. It's okay.
yeah, it's all good.
I mean, there are a handful of bands where I put out their records, where I'm like, their live record is better than their studio record by far.
Sure, yeah.
Where I was like, they're a live band. Like, I would
I'm
say,
finding
like, when I was
now
a
where,
kid.
like, with some of the live stuff, you know, if it's a band I'm not super familiar with, you know, I'll spend a bunch of time mixing the set, and I've become very familiar with obviously their live set, and then I'll hear their stuff on Spotify later, or they'll pop up on my feed, and I'm like, the studio stuff will sound so bizarre to me. Like, man, I like
Yes,
the live version better, you know?
exactly. I was 15 years old or so, and my parents had bought me a Suicidal Tendency record I already have, and I went to Kent Mill Music. It's like, I need to turn this in. I already have this. My parents got it for me for Christmas,
Hmm.
and I already had it. They're like, oh, you should take this Circle Jerks album. I was like, Circle Jerks? Okay. What is that? It's like, it's punk rock. I was like, I don't know, metalhead, but I'll put it in. And it was Gig. It was their live album. And it blew me the fuck away. I loved it. And other than their first album, Group Sex, I would say Gig is better than every album they've ever done. Like, I will put in Six or Wonderful or anything like that. I'm like, and the same songs that are on those CDs or on those albums are on Gig, just
Yep.
pale in comparison. Just pale.
When you find a
And I was like,
good live recording like that
yeah,
that speaks to you,
yeah,
because that was in the moment. That's real. There's no.
yeah.
I mean, you can still do some trickery with live recordings, but less so. That,
But
you know, it
less so.
feels more real, and it's more authentic
The
and
energy
in the
is
moment.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I thought back to, like, when I got into punk rock, I quickly realized that, like, live albums were a version of, like, best ofs, right? Because you're doing it
Sure.
live, you're gonna play your
Yeah.
best sets. So, like, I got
Hmm.
Agnostic Front live at CBGB's, and I got Exploited live at the White House. Ramones Local live, best Ramones record. So much faster, so much more aggressive. It's fucking great. Everyone should love that record. If they don't, you're wrong. It's
Unless you
great.
get some asshole band that wants to play their entire new record that no one's ever heard front to back.
Do you,
That shit's the
has
worst.
someone has someone done that?
Not to any recordings I've done, but I mean, yeah, I mean, bands do that shit all the time. I mean, what's a good example? I want to say like At the Drive-In has done that pretty
There's a
infamously,
reason
where
I don't
they'll
listen to
just
them.
play or not At the Drive-In, Mars Volta. Where it's
Okay.
like, oh, here's the entire unreleased record. We're gonna play the whole thing front to back and then walk off stage. Like, come on,
Oh, come
no one's here
on.
for
But
that. No one's here for that.
people want to hear at least a couple songs they know.
Yeah, give them what
Like
they want. You
when
don't
you're
have to
at that
pander the
level,
audience completely, but like, damn man,
yeah,
your fans made the trek out. They bought the ticket. They spent their money.
yeah,
They decided to spend their night with you. They could do a million other
yes.
things, and then you're just like, well, I'm only going to play my new stuff. Fuck out of here.
When you're at a certain level, I kind of expect to hear some songs I know.
Yeah.
I do a show almost every week. I have 5 bands. Sometimes I listen to the bands a lot in between. Other times I'm like, you know what? I've listened to this band in a year. I just want to go and experience it. I don't want to worry about what songs. I don't want to like learn anything to sing along to. I just want to feel it in the moment. But if I'm buying a ticket to Bad Religion, I better fucking hear some Bad Religion songs I want to hear.
Oh yeah.
I'm just saying.
They're a great live band, by the way.
No,
I
they are a
love
great live
them.
band.
They're so good.
I'm sad that they're ending their run, is what I've heard. So
Yeah. Well, it was a good one, that's for sure. Damn.
it was. So I was in a Bad Religion cover band for a hot minute called Good Blasphemy.
Oh
So
hell yeah.
yeah, it
Fuck
was
yeah,
good
good
stuff.
stuff. I
Good
always
people.
appreciated that even the earlier stuff, man, they always just really performed well and their recordings sounded great and their harmonies were tight. Like everything was just it was
Yep.
polished without being too polished. It still sounded like a punk record, but you could really tell that those guys played well, performed well. Really the whole package.
Yeah, it's like you listen to a lot of like the more popular like punk rock bands on like Fat Records and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And then you see bands like I see Bad Cop pretty often. And I'm like, they can fucking play. I know
Hmm.
there's studio magic out there, but Bad Cop can fucking play. Like, that's what I love. Avail to me is still probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite band of all time. And
Nice.
I don't care what label they were on. They can play. They know what they're doing. It's never nothing but a great time.
Hmm. Yeah, for me, Wilhelm Scream's a band like that where their stuff is just so fast and technical. You hear the records, and you're like, man, are they going to pull this off live? And then you see them live, and it's just,
And they
they
pull it
shred,
off.
they rip. It's
Yep.
super good. Yeah.
And that's a band, and I'm not super familiar, but what I am familiar with their catalog, it really changes a lot in its sound over the course of several albums. Would that be fairly accurate?
Yes and no, I think, but
Okay.
they've always stayed, I think, at the core, it's the speed and some of the technicality. I think
Okay.
um, it varies a little bit. I wouldn't say it's like a night and day difference or anything.
Yeah. I mean, like one of my other favorite bands, like Propaganda, were pop punk,
Oh,
skate
yeah.
punk, the first album, and now
Yep.
it's like, and then like the new album where it's slower, I still love it. It's still Propaganda. It's still amazing lyrics, and the songwriting is
I have
great.
no
And
problem when bands want to branch out and do.
yeah,
I generally like it. If you like the old fast rough record, then keep listening to it. Don't listen
yeah.
to the new one. People get so upset about that shit.
It's always, and you know what I've found is like so much of things are exposure dependent, by which I
Sure,
mean,
yeah.
I have one of my buddies, he will tell you up and down that like Heavy Petting Zoo is the best NoFX album. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? That's when I stopped listening to them when that album came out. And he's like, well, I was like 15 years old. I was like, oh, well, I was like 26. So, you know,
Yeah, that's
time and
definitely a
place, right?
time and place thing for sure. Yeah.
I mean, there's certainly like a time when like, I was like, he's like, yeah, I went back and listened to your Kid Dynamite. They were pretty good. Pretty good. Fuck you. Kid
Yeah, it's funny how
Dynamite's
that
pretty
works
good.
though. Just catching you at the right moment in your life to where it just all clicks.
It all clicks.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've heard that before. It's like, well, of course you've heard it before because people did it after them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, but when I heard it, it was OG. So yeah, it's a time and place situation. So,
For sure.
where are you in your life? What are you going through? What has been your previous exposure? What are you interested in hearing? I found that I tend to book a lot of like with some intentionality, like BIPOC, queer, and transcore bands, just because I've heard enough of like the straight white guys like singing on stage
Sure.
about like being brothers and drinking beer. I'm
Right.
interested to hear something different.
Yeah, a little more, I don't know,
I don't know, just different
constructive,
background and
contributing to,
experiences. I'm
yeah,
like, I like to
yeah,
be pushed to think about things in a different way because I'm like, all right,
sure.
I have heard that Dropkick Murphy song a thousand times. I need something new.
I mean, we're not to get heavy into the current climate of things, but like, this is why we have punk rock, and this is why we have
Yes.
loud, aggressive music, is to, you know, educate people that maybe wouldn't normally hear the message. I mean, I can think of plenty of times where, a song might tune you into a subject that you wouldn't normally pay any attention to. But we need this stuff right now, man. It's a crazy
Yeah.
fucking world.
I
It's
mean,
off
that's
the
why like
rails
my
right now.
favorite bands were Bad Religion and like Dead Kennedys. Like they're
Yeah,
bringing up ideas and questions I never had, and I was like, I
sure.
don't even know what a Biafra is. What is a Biafra? I was like, oh, it's a country. I didn't know that would have been a country, or you know, there are
I
things that you
remember
have to learn.
as a kid, I was a big Fear Factory fan, and
Fuck yeah,
they had a song off of Demanufacture called "Piss Christ," which was, growing up as a kid, I didn't know what atheism was, but I knew that I didn't like religion, and I thought it was all phony and a bunch of bullshit. And then I come across this song, which was the first time I heard another musician acknowledge, that religion is a bunch of made up, stuff,
yeah.
and it made me go, hey, I'm not alone, and I'm not weird thinking this, and it's not wrong to think this way, and yeah,
Yeah,
hearing
I
that
mean,
come from music really just like it hits.
oh, I feel because I'm also, I'm an atheist. Like, I feel like that's where Bad Religion hit me too. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
you get it. I was like, it's all a bunch
Hmm.
of synthetic frippery. I was like, oh my god, that speaks to what I've been like. I've been told I'm
Yeah.
going to hell so often in my life. This is like amazing to hear someone that tells me I'm not going to hell. That hell
Yeah,
doesn't
there's
matter.
other
How
people
can
like
hell be any
me.
worse? Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Hmm.
was great. It was absolutely like so moving to hear music that was about more than partying.
Yeah. Yeah. You
Not
can
that I don't love a good party song.
yeah, you can enjoy that stuff, but you can also, there's a time and place.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to unwind and listen to the party stuff, but then there's times when shit gets real, and it's
Yeah.
time to learn something new. Maybe open your third eye, your perspective, and
So you've grown up in
yeah.
Baltimore your whole life. What are
Hmm.
three Baltimore bands that like you saw that you just loved?
Mm, put me on the spot here. Baltimore bands.
One of my first shows was in Baltimore. It was I think I was like 15 or 16, and I saw at the Rage. I saw
Mhm.
Biohazard, Sheer Terror, Gridlock, and Next Step Up at the Rage.
Oh, dude, next step up.
Yeah, right.
Hell yeah. I mean, I gotta say, fucking Trapped Under Ice, man. I mean,
Yeah,
they've been around for the long haul, and seeing what the hardcore scene is now, especially even just 5-6 years ago. I mean, it's blowing up now. I mean, Ottobar is selling out more shows than they ever have this past
yeah.
year. It's crazy to see. It's cliche, but I'm gonna say Jimmy's Chicken Shack, which I guess technically they're
I
more
love Jimmy's
Annapolis,
Chicken
but
Shack. They used to
yeah, I
play
gotta
the
throw them in there. As a
HFS
young
Festival
kid
all the time.
getting into the music scene in this area for the first time,
Yeah,
seeing them was
yeah, dude.
definitely, yeah,
My
hell
wife would approve.
yeah. Nice.
She's from Annapolis, so like she was born and bred in the Maryland area. So
A third one. Man.
Good Charlotte.
I had one of my old bands that has opened up for them, and they're not. I have no issue with pop punk,
No, no,
for the
no, no, no,
record.
not at all.
I've
I
played
like
in
pop
pop
punk.
punk bands, but they've never been my particular cup of tea. But they were
The
always
one
nice
dude's
to
on
someone sing that.
the tattoo show now, like Ink He's a judge on Ink the one twin.
Oh yeah, I do
Yes.
remember that. Yeah, after I guess what did Dave Navarro leave and he replaced him or
Yeah,
something like
Dave
that.
Navarro left. I'm not sure, like, that's not an equal trade off in my mind, but it's fine. He's a nice enough guy, it seems.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, if I could have been in a pop punk band at that age and played to crowds like that, I'd have done it in a heartbeat. So
Oh
anyone
yeah, it's
decided,
fun.
yeah, why
Yeah,
not?
that whole like Newfound Glory and the earlier stuff and
Yeah,
I love it. It's just fun.
yeah,
It's just
it's
fun
fun.
stuff to like
It's nothing I've ever played,
disconnect
but
to and
yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I
But
mean, I did play in a band called The Abducted that kind of sounded like the Queers and Screeching Weasel. That was my
the
closest
Abduct, I
to
like
like
that name.
pop punk.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, I was like one of like 7 drummers.
Are you? What's behind that name, the Abducted? Where did that come from?
I
I'm
don't
thinking
know.
aliens,
They
but
keep abduct. Yeah, I
it's
mean
just
the
a
cover of
cool
the
name.
album, the one CD they had the aliens on it, and on that
Yeah.
CD is like Eric actually went on to drum and Strike Anywhere. Then I was a drummer after that, and then I
Okay.
recorded some songs, and then they asked me to leave the band politely ish, and then they got another
Politely
drummer who
ish.
finished the album. Yeah. I mean, they just came to band practice in my basement and carried everything back out and said, "Yeah, you're not in the band anymore." I was like, "Okay." It was fine. We moved past it. Even though they put out the record without like my name on the on the tracks that I played on, it's fine. It's fine. I mean, I went to 2 of their weddings later, so it's all good. Assholes.
Didn't cause a ruckus at the wedding.
No,
That'd be the time
no
to bring
ruckus
up
at the
all the
wedding. No
drama, right?
ruckus. But then I ran into like Eric from Strike Anywhere at the fest like 2 years ago. I was talking to the singer of No Man,
Hmm.
and I mentioned like, "Oh, I'm from the DC area." She's like, "Oh, yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I'm friends with like old bands like the Goons, yada yada." I used to play in the Abducted, and the guy next was like, "You didn't play in the Abducted? I played in the Abducted." It's like, "No, I did. I was like their second drummer." He's like, "You're my missing link." I was like, "What?" He's like, "I've been collecting Abducted drummers. I need to take a photo of you. You're the last one I needed." Because like there was like 7 or 8 of you. I was like, I needed to collect them all. Because they went through drummers
I love
like there
that.
was nobody's business. I was like, yeah, they struggled.
That happens. Yep.
Yeah, it's got to be the right fit, not only just musically but also people wise. And
Yeah,
sometimes
I
it
mean,
just
it's
doesn't work.
back to what you were saying, and you got to have that chemistry. Everybody's got to click.
Yeah, it's
Sometimes it's
hard to
tough, but
force it too. I've tried to force it before, and it's like it's just not fun.
I mean, it should be fun, right? I mean, sometimes it is hard work, and it does feel like work. I think that's natural and a normal thing. But
Yeah,
if you have personalities that are fighting you along the way, man, it just sucks. That's when
yeah.
it's time to get out.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, I just finished a 2-hour practice that I drove 45 minutes for, and at the end of it, I'm depressed and down, and
Yeah,
I just
it's
want to go home.
exhausting.
I'm not enjoying the music. I have to be done with this.
I've been fortunate that the bands I've played in, we've all, I think, for the most part, been friends previously before getting together, or at least knew each other pretty well.
Yeah.
But I've had some pretty good experience over the years with not having crazy band drama.
I mean, I turned
Thankfully,
50 in
lucky.
April, and I would say most of my bands have been positive.
Good. That's good
Most.
to hear. Yeah.
It's just been a little bit hard here and there.
Hmm.
Because everybody wants you because you're a drummer. So like, oh yeah, it's like, but I
Getting
also I don't play metal drums. I don't do double bass. Like there's just I don't. I'm 50 years old. I don't want to learn anything new. I just want to play and have fun.
you just want to have fun. Yeah.
I just want to have fun. I want to have fun. If you want
Not
to go on
work
the
too
road,
hard.
I'll go on the road. I'll book us a 3-week tour
Sure.
tomorrow, but we're gonna do it my style. I'm too old to change. Sorry.
I hear you.
If you want me to start throwing some jazz in there, it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry. I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to sit at home and practice it.
Who's got time for all that? I will say it is, with modern technology practices, it is a little bit better because you can work on stuff at home. I like my bands, we always try and use practice in the room with the whole band as our time to kind of perfect the set or write. But like the whole idea of just getting, for me at least, getting in the room to just jam with a bunch of musicians is a fucking nightmare to me. Like I have no interest in that. Like I want to come in with a plan. This is what we need to do. Either this is what we need to write. This is what we're rehearsing. Get in, get out, be efficient with your time. But like, I'm going to iron the parts out at home before I come to practice. If you're the guy that's at practice, like in the middle of, band practice, relearning a song, like, dude, do that shit at home. Do your homework,
Yeah.
man.
I mean, I have electronic kit, so I can practice at home if
Yeah,
I
yeah.
need to. There's a band I manage called World Sucks. They use some sort of program because the bass player lives in Canada, guitarist is in Jersey, and
So they do like a program
the
drums or
drummers in
something
Catskills,
like
and they
that.
use some
Yeah,
sort of program that allows them to share and practice with each other. Definitely
yeah.
like the bass player and guitarist, like they write together. I forget the name of it. They mentioned it in our Slack chat the other day,
Hmm.
and but like I like the band practice, but I'm also like old school guys. Like I want to have a band practice, and then after band practice, I want to hang out and I want to shoot the
Sure, yeah,
shit
yeah.
for an hour afterwards. I want it to be more than being in a band. I want the camaraderie.
Got
I
it.
want
Yeah.
to feel like we're hanging out and we're buds. If I'm
Hmm.
just playing to play and we're not friends, that's fine. But like, I want camaraderie. I'm
Sure.
sorry. Music without friendship is just not music to me. For me, I can't do it.
Some people, I think, like that transactional nature, but
Oh, I get
yeah, you
it.
gotta
And I
have
mean,
a
no disrespect to anyone that does. It's just not me.
yeah, yeah. I'm not like a Nashville session musician. I'm here to enjoy the time and hang out with friends and hopefully
Yeah.
make some good songs and good music.
So, do you ever record your own stuff, or do you have someone else do
Oh
it?
yeah, all the time. Yeah, I mean, I that's kind of what got me into recording. I started playing first. My first serious band, we went to record, and at the time, all we could afford was a buddy, a friend of a friend that had a recording set up in their basement, and we went and recorded, and less than stellar time, but it cost us next to nothing, so can't complain too much. But I'm looking around while we're doing this, and I'm going, I could probably do this myself and do a better job. And this was way back, so I was still living at home, and
Yeah.
talked to my dad, and he's a very handy guy, and he's also into music. And I said, let's build a studio, and we built a studio in the basement and got to it, and that's kind of where it started. I said, I want to be able to do this on my own time. I don't have a fortune to spend on recording, so I'm gonna do it myself, and that's kind of where it started. Just trying to record my own band and my friends' bands at first, and then of course it developed into more and more over the years. But yeah, pretty much every band I've been in, yeah, I end up recording everything.
All right, Brad. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. We've been at it for over an hour. I try and keep
It's
these
been great. Yeah, I appreciate
brief
it.
and beautiful. I could chat with you all night long, I got to tell you. If people want to reach out to you to mix and master their stuff, where can they reach out to you?
Sure, my website, it's just my name, jeremy-hayes.com. You can also find me on Instagram at Bungler, Bungler. Don't ask about the name. It's just an old handle. I thought the word was funny, and I've stuck with it for like 12 years now. But Bungler on Instagram or jeremy-hayes.com. DM me. That's fine. Email me, whatever you prefer. And I always try and get back pretty quick. And affordable rates. So if you're an indie band looking to get a single or a record, or you want some live recording or mastering, hit me up. Happy to help.
Cool. And I'm going to drop all that stuff in the description of
Cool.
the episode, whether you're streaming
Appreciate
it
it.
or you're watching
Yeah.
this on YouTube, whatever it is, it's going to be there. Also, please check out dcpclive.com. Check out our Instagram. You should check out Sick Moves, recorded, mixed, and mastered by Jeremy. I've only got like 15 copies of that left, so you should check it out because it's
That's a good one.
dope. I mean, that's really good that I only put that out like, what did I put it out, like 6 months ago?
Yeah, and then you got Supreme Commander on the way too, man.
I got Supreme Commander. I don't know what's going on with Supreme Commander. I haven't heard hide nor hair of them for a while, but I kind of
They
like
seem to be busy,
bands.
but yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear it because I love that band. I have loved that band for, going on 15 years now. So
Yeah, that mix came out really good. It's
I am super stoked to
it's
release
dope.
that. So, and I can't wait to work with you some more. And I can't thank you
Absolutely.
enough for being on this episode. It has been
thank you.
an absolute pleasure chatting with you, Jeremy.
I'm glad you had me on. It was awesome talking to you, and I appreciate it. Here's to more.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for watching. And please, like I said, check everything out. Go to the website, check his stuff out, check my stuff out, subscribe, yada yada. Do all the things that you're supposed to do that they say at the end of podcasts. You know what it is. Much love.